Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. It's been a while since I did my last video, but mainly been a lot of work, and I've been playing some Imperator Rome actually. Good game if you like grand strategy. Wasn't that good at release, but they've been able to improve it. But yeah, today we're going to be flying something quite different, and something I never thought I would be flying in P3D version 5, the Captain Sim 727. And this is an aircraft that I've owned since the FSX days. I really liked it, but I haven't flown it in years. So I won't promise that I'm going to do all the flows correctly. I'm not even sure if this aircraft is actually that detailed in that regard, but it's pretty good. And the reason why I didn't think I was going to fly it is because it's only for P3D version 3, but they have, or not Captain Sim, but a guy I know, shout out to Nicholas, has actually been able to tweak a bit with the files, and he was kind enough to share it with me since he needed someone to test it a bit. And this is of course not an official modification that way, so you would need a legal copy of the plane in order to be able to use it, but it is actually a very good modification. I'm not sure how, because I tried myself to get it to work in P3D version 5, but I've just been unsuccessful. I was able to separate the cockpit, etc., but not do anything further than that. But he's been able to actually get a lot of the systems working. So I'm really looking forward to doing this flight. We're going to be flying from Stuttgart, here featuring the Just Sim version. I've actually been to Stuttgart, but that was back in 2016, I think. Something like that. It was a flight. Actually, I think it was from Kos to Stuttgart, and then I flew Hamburg, and then back to Stockholm, something like that. So it's been a while, and we're going to be flying down to Vienna, where I actually haven't ever visited, but hope to do at some point. As you can see, it looks maybe a bit too glossy. That's because I added PBR to it. Without the PBR, it didn't look that good. This is not the best livery. Actually, if I'm gonna be very honest, it's like a bit of a dirty, older livery, so it doesn't look too good when you add the PBR effects, because you get kind of gloss on parts that aren't supposed to be glossy. But one of the cool things is that you can see that it's the old livery of Lufthansa, which is pretty cool. Let me just check. It seems like the ATC is coming from the in-game one, not pilot to ATC. So that's a bit annoying. What else? And as with the 727, which is one of my favorite aircraft, it's a tri-engine configuration. So one kind of embedded into the fuselage, and then one on the right side, one on the left side here at the tail section. And I think even a tail door here, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think it was it a 727 where was it FBI or something, or was it like a guy who had like a bomb and then he jumped out the back? I think it was 727. But as you can see, it looks pretty decent with PBR, just the wrong livery. And I haven't really done it too good. I think I even added PBR on the wheels, which made them look, or the front wheels at least, which make them look a bit weird. But it's still, I would say, the best looking 727 in P3D. Maybe the Thomas Root one looks pretty equally good on the outside, but yeah, that's about the only one that can compete. But this one is so much better on the inside though, so or it looks at least a lot better. So let's jump inside, and as you can see, it's a lot of lights on. Some things might not be working. This is the kind of work in progress, so I'm testing new versions. This is the latest one he's done. He's done quite a bit of different iterations. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to do all the flows correctly either. I do think the external power works, but it's a bit weird. Now it seems like I do have batteries, etc. working, because I can see them on my Logitech. But let's press here on the external power. So now that should be on. But now when I put that on, I lose the radio. So yeah, it's a bit a bit odd how that works. Maybe that's how it's supposed to work. But oh well. Not too big of a deal. We can put on the galley power. I think we'll have to do the APU, but before we do that, I'm just gonna put on. You can hear all the sounds are working as well, so that's nice. I'll put the navigation lights. The lights are also, as you can see, too bright. So it's not too crazy bright, but they are a bit too much because it's based on the old kind of lighting config that they had for P3 version 3, which with the dynamic lighting and P3 version 5 doesn't really work as it should. We can put the no smoking, as you can hear. It's also sounds. And then we have the fasten seatbelt one. We can also, I think, open the door. And this one does work, so that's very nice. We can open the cargo doors. And yeah, look at that. Just absolutely incredible. We are gonna do a VR flight. So I'm not sure if we're gonna be using Pilot to ADC just because I can't seem to set that up properly. It does assign you SIDs and stars that I feel. Well, maybe it actually, we could try. Sometimes I actually think it does assign you correctly. It's just that I'm too big of a rookie to fly those SIDs and stars. We're gonna start Pilot to ADC version 3 and we'll start Pack X. And I must say it was really great to see this plane because I've been waiting for the FlyJ Sim 727. I'm definitely going to be flying that one a lot if they ever release it for X-Plane 12. But it doesn't seem to be kind of releasing anytime soon. So this is going to really fill that void. I also have the Caravel in X-Plane 12 that I mean to fly, but I just haven't yet gotten to it. Mainly because there's not that many liveries. I think they only have the Transavia one. I don't really have any connection with that, and I do like to fly with the liveries that I want to fly. Let's see. Oh, is that a different door? Is that like let me check. So if I oh, very interesting. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Do we need that second door? Probably not. We can close that service door. Good. And we can get all the boarding, etc. going. It's not going to be a super long flight, but a pretty decent one. So Stuttgart. We'll just do our normal ones. Let's check what we have in terms of flight plan. I'm actually going to bring it down. So we're going to fly up to 31,000. I haven't done a proper flight with this. I did like a really short test flight, Montpellier, Marseille, without any VR, etc. So that went really well. Didn't try though to capture the glide slope, so let's see how that goes. There might be some things we have to consider based on the input from Nicolas. We'll do a very short boarding process because I'm not really interested in waiting too long. So when I get up in the air, 'cause that's what I guess all of you are also kind of interested in seeing, this airplane in action. Safety, we'll do Lufthansa. I have one. Okay, so that should work. Sometimes I by mistake select the boarding music for the safety. Yeah, I'm not always the best at getting that right. Since we want the radios to work for Pilot to ADC, we are gonna start the APU, but before we do that we are quickly just gonna check that we have the right call sign, etc. So we're taking Lufthansa. We're gonna import our flight plan. A bit interesting seeing how this will look. Okay, that's good. So no weird stuff. The only thing we know, we'll land on runway 29er, so we can do that as an approach. I'm gonna guess it's an ILS one. Yeah, we'll do the U1 direct vectors load approach. We can activate approach, we can validate and then file and then connect to the sim. So let's get that, and let's move this. Not sure why that's or why this one was so big. I find the map being more important just to see that everything's looking correct. So let's file. I'm gonna connect separately, and we're gonna start this APU, and look at that, absolutely amazing. I would never been able to fix this. You need to tweak some of the values in the files, I'm pretty sure. But there we go, so that's good news. And now I'm gonna try to see if we can get this one to work. Yeah, so we want the power. Yeah, there we go. The weird way in order to get the radios to work is that you have to kind of put on one of the generators, even though I guess technically you shouldn't. It could of course be that I'm missing something. Maybe there's some connection. Even though it says failure now, it's actually working. Because now if I do close, now I won't have any. So it's a bit weird. So basically this one, I think you can do the same with this one, and then trip that one. But basically, yeah, so the auxiliary generator doesn't, or the auxiliary power unit generator doesn't seem to work as intended, or maybe I'm just too stupid to get it right. But now we have APU, even though it says failure, we have power. We don't need to have the external power anymore. We can also do quickly the GSX boarding, and we're going to do like 10 packs. So a really low number. Yeah, let's see. We asked for boarding. Let's close that door. Let's also check actually the viewpoints we have. So from the interior we have a couple. One thing to note, this VX doesn't work, so we're gonna, or I've asked Nicholas to look into, you know, replacing it with something else. So let's see what we can. I'm thinking maybe the Roland VX could be a nice substitute. But this is pretty amazing. I mean, look at this cabin. How the hell could you have this in FSX, but then some of these other ones, like PMDG, couldn't get like at least a decent cabin? I'm not gonna say this is amazing, but this is pretty damn good for its era, or its era. Being able to move the trays. So big shout out to Captain Sim for that. Let's see, do we have the... I think you can open this, yeah. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a plane that's actually supposed to be flown by 3 pilots. So, and of course I'm not sure, I wouldn't call this a high fidelity, but it's a pretty good simulation of the 727. Nothing compared to the 5J sim, at least what I've seen. And I'm hoping to learn more about the 727 when we finally get the 5J sim in X-Plane 12. But this will do until then. I'm probably going to read the manuals more in depth at some point. But this will do for now. And let me see, if I do try, or I have a faint recollection that you're supposed to close all of these, right? Because this is the APU bleed. Engine 1, Engine 2, Engine 3 bleed air, and then APU bleed. And I guess you need the APU bleed to start the engine. At least, theoretically. Could be that I'm missing something in the flows, but oh well. I don't think you can tweak anything with this, or actually you can. So you can choose the cabin altitude. But as you can see, there's not really too much. We're just going to use 8,000 feet. That's pretty normal. We'll have it on auto. And hey, GSX has a nice profile. It seems to work, so that's cool. Our first waypoint is the Stuttgart one, but it's basically right ahead of where we're taking off, which is going to be runway 25. Or actually no. It's the exact opposite of the one we're taking off from. Maybe we could just do runway 7 instead, like force them to, just to make this easier. Okay, let me see. Runway 7. Okay, this one should work. The Abtal one, because it's basically just straight forward and then you turn right at some point to towards our next target, which is the VLD VR. And let's put that in. So our VOR is our VR radio is here, or our nav radio. So 112, and I can use the Logitech panels to control this, so that's pretty cool. 1128. The next one we are flying to is 11104. Let's see if we can have them switch between them. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it's kind of stored. Okay, it wants us to close all the doors now. Basically the boarding is done, so we're gonna do that. And then let's see, they want us to have a 72, a course of 72.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and
So let's see if we
welcome
can get that. Okay, it's not moving yet, but that's because everything isn't started. But I'm gonna put in the course anyway, 72. You'll see that all of these are working. I'm gonna put on the beacon light already, because we're soon gonna start the engines. And I'm gonna... Actually, one thing I totally forgot about is our fuel loads and payloads. There is a fuel manager, but it's outside the sim. I haven't tried if it worked, or if it works. So we're not gonna play around with that. We're gonna check. They want us to have around 20,000. I'm gonna do a bit more, since I'm not gonna really do any fuel management. This should be fine, I think. Let's see how it goes. Our weight is around 140, and we're supposed to be at around 147. Yeah, this is fine. So we're a bit lighter, have a bit more fuel. Good for a test flight. What else? What else? No, now it's just doing the pushback. We also need to talk to ATC actually. Didn't think about that. So like I said, it's been a while since I've flown the last time, so I'm a bit rusty. We'll check the active weather. Yeah, this should be fine. Yeah, variable wind. Yeah, we can take off from runway 7. That's fine. One thing I'm gonna check though is that do we actually have the right? Yeah, we have live weather, so that's good. So 3 or 1016. Okay, let me see. 1016. There we go. 17 degrees outside, that's fine. What else? Oh yeah, talk to ATC. That's the key thing here. Let's switch the comm to clearance. Lufthansa 40. Oh wait, actually one thing. Let's see if the ATC is working as intended. Because the voices things. Yeah, as you can see, it's not working. We're getting the default voice, so I need to like reinstall all the voices. It's a bit of a pain having to do this every time, but it's because they kind of changed the voices, so they're not as easy to access for other software. So you have to like install an older version that always seems to get like replaced by the updated install whenever I restart my PC. So I guess the lesson to learn from that is to never restart your PC. Let's see now. Yeah, there we go. Better voice. And I'm gonna check if I can switch. So my co-pilot can be Guy, I think. And Neria, let's switch because I've had Neria for a lot of my latest flights. Aria. Lufthansa 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance. Okay, let's see if this is working or no. No, nothing. Okay, settings. Okay, let's try again. Lufthansa 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance. That's strange. So we are on the right frequency, but for some reason I can't contact them. Let me see if there's another one. Well, this is clearance delivery. Okay, I'm just quickly gonna restart pilot to EDDS. That's annoying. Could be the plane as well. It's not the end of the world if we don't get pilot to EDDS to work. But it does add to the immersion. I like the background noise, all of that stuff. Yeah, look at that. It's really lagging now when it's loading pilot to EDDS. Okay, and there we go. Now it's not lagging. Yeah, I kind of like pilot to EDDS 2 a bit more in the sense that it just worked in a way. Didn't have the same issues. Okay, so let's try to import the flight plan. We'll switch to Lufthansa again. Just quickly get this set up. Hopefully this time it will work. And we're gonna change. Could have been that I changed the runway, that maybe messed it up a bit. Yeah, let's do that. And let's activate approach. Okay, now I activated approach without selecting approach. That was pretty dumb. And the problem is that it's not gonna take into consideration that I can't actually do that. We can't fly with GPS, so we don't have that ability. So we're just gonna do an ILS one. The U1. Okay, and let's see now if we can get it set up properly. If this doesn't work, we'll just skip it. No biggie. It happens. Okay, validate. Let's connect to the sim. One thing I also realized, you could do some Pan Am flights. They have a lot of these 727s flying in Germany. I guess one of their local subsidiaries probably to get the traffic to the main hubs to then fly to the US. I guess mainly. The weather is looking pretty nice. Some overcast, but we're kind of in the middle of, or not in the middle of it, but kind of just outside or kind of encircled by the overcast, I guess you could say. Okay, let's see. Now we are, I'm gonna try now to get it, the IFR clearance. Lufthansa 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance. Any luck? No. Lufthansa 4003, ready to copy, IFR clearance. Yeah, that's strange. it's not really listening to the to the mic, so we'll just use our co-pilot. Something isn't working. Even though we have now the clearance, you can see we're not getting anything. That's frustrating. Maybe it's something that isn't on, but it does look to be on. Okay. We'll skip it. It's not gonna work. We'll keep it on for, you know, any sort of background immersion. We'll just put in some random. Let's see, does this work? Yeah, it seems to work. That's nice. We'll ask for pushback. Babas, we get IFR clearance. Let's say we're cleared to 10,000. We'll fly with the nav mode. So let's see if this engine start works. We had some issues in the beginning, but we were able to tweak it. So it should now work appropriately. We'll know soon enough. Ground to flight deck. Yeah, I think ground to flight deck is probably the ultimate ground crew. Anything else? Seatbelt signs. I think, if I am not mistaken, that this one also has some options to speak.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck is the captain.
Yeah, so you can like use that. One thing I can already mention is you need to use shift 4, or yeah, shift 4 for the autopilot, not for the whole one, but just to get the pitch and the climb and descent one. So you click or go below, so that's something to keep in mind. Otherwise the autopilot works fine from here. I'm actually gonna try if I can do the scroll one. Not sure if we did that. Get that updated. Let's see, can we hide this one? Doesn't look like we can. Doesn't look like there's any other menu to hide it either. But okay. Oh no, what did I do? Change direction, yeah. Nose right, yeah. Tail left. Okay, we'll put these all to start just to simplify for us. They should have been at cutoff, but well, no biggie. Okay, we are moving. Okay, let's see. To start the engines, you have to click that, and look at that. The engines are starting. Isn't this incredible? In P3D version 5, having the Captain Sim 727, that's amazing. There is also an updated texture pack that removes some of these, because it looks really dirty, right? But I think there's some errors in that one. I need to have a look at it. I did try it, and it did look much better generally. This one looks so, yeah, maybe for Aerosuk. But if you're doing like old school Lufthansa ops, you want it to look a bit more clean. Okay, so engine 3. Engine 2. So you have to click it and hold it till it kind of starts. Which you'll see here when it kind of takes off. And it looks pretty good. You can see it kind of spinning. Which you can't on the... Or sorry, on this one you can see it spinning, not on that one. And then engine 1. You can set parking brakes while we wait. And we'll confirm good engine start after we have... There we go. Once we have gotten DSL up to idle, we'll confirm good engine start. And now we can get all of those. Get the normal bleeds, packs. Guess we don't need the APU one. Trip that and shut it down. That removes a lot of the annoying sound. The APU is quite loud. And here you can see now it's working without failure. So we should actually have moved this essential power as well to get rid of the failure, since even with the APU we're using one of these generators. Normal, normal, normal. You can see here it's looking correct. Left is clear, right is clear. The fuel gauges are looking nice. Let's see the taxi and taxi turn off lights. You can see they're way too bright. So that needs to be fixed. Very odd how it's not even lighting this up. That's actually strange. It looks better here, but then on some of the materials it looks more off. Now I didn't check if the fire warning works, but oh well, not a biggie. The pitot probes, let's do those. Not sure if you need the window heat, so we'll leave as is for now. Here's the engine anti-ice. These are saying a rel, but they are on. Maybe that's what they're supposed to say. I haven't tried the night lighting completely, but it's supposed to work. So we can release the parking brake. And let me just get us back to our normal viewpoint. One thing we need to do is set flaps 15 to 5, 15. We'll put this in the green band. We'll release the parking brakes. We're gonna add oh, sorry. Now I know why this one isn't working. That's annoying. FSU IPC. We might be on the wrong. Yeah, we are using the wrong. So profile specific. This is gonna be the 727. So now it should. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. So let's. Oh, and now it's raining. That's also one thing that doesn't cool though with the effects here on the ground with the Just Sim EDDS. A bit abrupt maybe, but nevertheless cool. The wind. Oh, look at that! Look at that! He managed to do it. So we hadn't earlier been able to get the windshield wipers to work, but now we have. So we don't see any, of course, rain, but we do at least have working wipers, so that does add to the immersion. Yeah, look at those effects. Yeah, this is really cool. This is more like nostalgia. I'm not gonna say this is the greatest plane ever, or the most high fidelity one. It's an old one, but it's just a lot of fun too. It's like being a kid again. And I think this one goes all the way back to FS 09 or 2004 or 04 flight simulator. Okay, we are gonna ask if we have clearance to depart. Blah blah blah. We have. We'll put the landing lights. Anything else? No, there's no auto brakes, etc. to put on. Anything I've forgotten? Actually, yeah, now we can see we have the right heading selected, or the course, so we know how we want to fly that. I'm not sure, maybe some things would be off, like the packs, etc. for takeoff. Or I think they could be if you needed to do like a a heavy takeoff and need all that extra power to go to the engines rather than the packs. Yeah, so you can see there's still some things to do. I can fix this myself. I think with the lights it's just a pain to go through and find the right. So you have to change the daylight and the night. Because even during the night this will look too bright. Okay, but here we are. We're ready to go. I don't know the V1s. I'm gonna guess between 140 and 160. Anything else? No, nothing else I can think of. Hydraulic systems I think are on. They're looking good in the greenish-ish. And yeah, most things are set up as they should be. So let's give it a go. We're supposed to be flying around 30 nautical miles in the forward direction before we turn right. So what we actually should do is put on the, let me just check. So the 1110, that's for so after a while we were supposed to fly 1110, right? But the question is 1110-4 direct with a 277 course. So 1110-4. We'll do that on the second radio so we don't forget 1110-4. And then on this first one we'll switch this 1110-4 to the Stuttgart VR, which is 11685. And look at that, it's picking it up. And we are flying straight forward, so we are just gonna fly kind of like that. I'm gonna put the heading bug also forward. We're gonna fly until we have a 30 distance from it, 30 nautical miles. Okay, let's see now. We're gonna go. Yeah, we're just gonna slam dunk the engines. That sounds is very nice. I think it's the TSS sound. I think it's incorporated into this one, and they make pretty good ones. TSS, maybe not the best, but pretty good. And let's see now. Yeah, look at that. We're seeing our airspeed is alive. Let's try to maintain center line. Is the rudder working somewhat? Okay, let's see. We're not on full thrust, but we don't need that. Interesting, the nose is coming up by itself. Not sure if that's possible. Okay, we have a positive rate of climb. Let's get those gear up. Leaving Orbex Germany behind. So no photo reel, but pretty decent land class. Still raining a bit, so let's keep the wipers on for now. We'll go and remove the flaps. You can see them and the slats, how they're coming in. All the animations are working, which is very cool. Very nice there with a power plant. Let's actually now park the wipers. We are, I think, climbing a pretty nice attitude or pitch. So I'm wondering if we can maintain this by with the heading. I'm gonna try first. We're gonna do manual. We'll put that on. Okay, let's see, and we're gonna try to get it down a bit. So now we're flying heading mode, as you can see here. and we are also flying with kind of the vertical. So I'm gonna show you. I press like this, then that goes up, or I can press with like a vertical speed knob. The question is, does it work pressing here? So let's try to get it down to 1. And that doesn't seem to. Okay, so it doesn't work through that, so that's still something to fix. Another thing is, what I understood is that when you're trying to fly the glide slope, you'll have to put in altitude hold for some reason. So let's see what we need to do in that regard. And we're overspeeding a bit, so we're gonna slow down. Or maybe we should climb a bit quicker. Just wanna get up to 31,000. We can set this to standard. And then we'll change this one to 31,000. We're still only 12 nautical miles away from the airport, so we still have some ways to go. It was about 32, 35. Let me see what pilot TDC is saying. It's saying 3 nautical miles to DS030 and then 32 nautical miles to Abtal. And then we have the the next one, so we can keep this. Let's actually try the localizer. The question is though if we need to put in the opposite, or can we fly like this away from it? Let's try. So will it follow it now and turn right? Yeah, look at that. Okay, so that looks good. Let's add a bit of thrust. I'm gonna decrease our climb rate a bit. We could turn off these ones. Okay, let's see, add a bit more thrust. She is climbing, a bit of difficulty, but climbing she is. That's looking good. Looks very nice in the air. Maybe we can actually try to get a nice picture here. With a bit of clouds and a bit of ground. That will be for the thumbnail of this video. Okay, we're above 10,000 feet, so landing light should come off. We still have about 10 nautical miles. At around, I would say 25, now 27, we can start fiddling a bit, changing to the next frequency. I think you can even open this. You're not supposed to do it though, because we're now in pressurized, so that would have been pretty hard to do, but you can open it. Just wanted to showcase that. Okay, so next one is the double ULD, which or the Valda VR. What is the W1 for? Or how in the phraseology? I think I know, like Lima, Delta, and what's double? Yeah, blanking on that. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna turn to Valda. That's gonna be direct on 108. So what we'll do is we'll change back to heading select. We'll do the course 108, and we are gonna change to the LOWW one. There we go. We are already a bit, or we have already overshot it. So let's turn into it. It's around 40 nautical miles, and then we have around 200 from that point on towards Vienna, Austria. Okay, let's pitch down a bit more. We're not, maybe we'll make 31,000, might be a bit hard. I'll add a bit of thrust. But yeah, so far so good, right? I mean, we've been able to fly. No weather radar, of course. I think you can click the knobs, but there's just nothing showcasing on it. Pressing this one will get you the basic GPS. So maybe that could be switched out as well. You have the ground proximity, a lot of knobs to press, so it's not a bad aircraft in any way. Okay, we're still climbing. Things are looking good. Our Mach speed is pretty low. We can probably fly around 8. So pretty fast. Another, oh, did I open? Okay, I just clicked so it sounded like something opened. Another thing that's good to be aware of, or not good to be aware of. Now I'm blanking. What was I gonna explain? I was gonna explain something of that was able to be fixed, but now I forgot what it was. It was something good though. What was it? But yeah, generally, I mean, a lot of these things are working, which is cool. I mean, even the stall warning, look at that. I mean, it's amazing. Really talented work. Really good work. And it's great to have this in P3D version 5. I mean, this shows that the community isn't dead for this sim. It has, you know, some great people still tweaking and fixing aircrafts. Okay, we're crossing 19,000 feet. It's gonna look better once we get closer to Austria. Then we'll have photoreal. It's not too bad though with the Orbex one. Looks much better than the default. I mean, this should be the default ground scenery. Then I think P3D would, well, probably wouldn't save it, but it would at least have had a better reputation in terms of ground scenery. I still like the, I mean, some bugs. Look at that. Or is that contrails or maybe Cirrus? Or maybe it's in front of that, but yeah, kind of diverse clouds with the 2D ones. I really like that, even though they're not the best looking ones. They're just not kind of, how would you say, fitting with the rest of the coloring. So the volumetric ones will look, I would say, better, even though they aren't, because I think they can only do 2 layers, and then it's like 2 overcast layers, and that's about it. Oh, and now we have turned way too far. So yeah, too much babbling. Too little focus on flying. But that's fine. We're basically just gonna do a wider turn to our next one, which is gonna be the 1110-4. So I'm actually gonna do that one, 1110-4. And we're gonna be flying, I think, 90 degrees. So 1110-4, and we're gonna be flying. We're not picking up anything though. Let's so 90, sorry, now we're doing 80. So around 90. It might be that we're too far away from the next, because I think it was like 200, right? So I'm gonna pick it up at around 140. So what we actually wanna do is we wanna fly 90 to the waypoint we were flying to, and then just continue on the outbound. So we're gonna fly the inbound on that one. And which one were we flying to? It was the 11280, right, for Valda. So yeah, let's see if we can get this one to work. And we'll do the heading one. Yeah, we're pretty close to it, so we're just gonna have to find it again. We're almost at 31,000, so that's good. I need to remember that I can't use that one, but I need to use the 2D panel for the climb. But yeah, looking here, I mean, it's really good actually, the way Orbix has been able to do some of this land class. Specifically the fields. I think the woods are a bit problematic and the cities, but the fields look very nice. Now we're actually descending, so that's not what we want to do. So yeah, learning process. I was mainly interested in getting this video out just to kind of showcase to you that this this aircraft is flyable now in P3D version 5. So sharing the knowledge. And if you have a copy of this airplane, do feel free to reach out through the comment section. And I can probably share it. Not sure if you want to share it yet, or if you still want to do some tweaks. For example, with the PBR, so you don't have to do that yourself. There's still some work left. But yeah, she's a beauty, that's for sure. And now we should be flying a bit of Mach. Yeah, we're flying at 6.67-ish. .66 maybe, in between that. Okay, we have now gone straight on the waypoint. So the question is why we're not seeing it. Oh, never mind. My mistake, managed to press that. So just a mistake on my end. Now let me see now. So we are flying to. What course are we supposed to have? 9-4 maybe? Let's just do 9 or 090. Okay, let's see if we can find it. So we're basically flying with heading mode now. Not really utilizing our localizer capabilities. Okay, a bit of stuttering, but that's probably scenery loading in rather than this aircraft being problematic. Could be that we're flying close to Munich. I'm gonna check. Maybe, maybe not. or potentially, well, I mean Munich, Salzburg. I have those airports. Innsbruck's probably pretty close here to the right. You can see the beautiful mountain tops. Doesn't look too good from this far away, but they're very nice. I still remember when I landed in Munich, also about 10 years ago. I think that was on the flight to Kos, and you could see the mountains kind of like to the right. We were coming in from the west and landing. I think it was runway 08 left or something like that, and then you could see the mountains. Just amazing. I think the first time I'd seen the Alps in like in my grown up stage, if we could call it that. Okay, let's see. Still looking good. Soon at 31,000. We're now seeing, actually, now I'm wondering which one are we using. We're using 1110.8, which is a wrong one. No, sorry. Now we're using something. God, let's do 114, see if we find anything. Nothing. We're supposed to use the LOWW one, otherwise. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. Some mistakes on my part. So we've been flying from Stuttgart. We're trying to aim for the Stuttgart 90 degree instead of the LOWW one. So we're gonna put that to 105 to hopefully get closer. We should also get a bit closer to the Alps, I think. So we're turning here, and it looks very nice actually with the cloud shadowing, etc. Because if you just combine like the best of the 2D clouds, the best of the volumetric ones, you could have got something really good in P3D version 5. I wonder how version 6 looks in terms of clouds, because they changed from the true sky clouds in that one. Okay, let's see. So 1110.4. Yeah, there we go. Now we have the signal. So around 190 nautical miles away. Okay, we're almost at our altitude. So once we reach 31,000, we can go into altitude hold. I guess we would want to avoid that technically, because that could be nasty cumulu CB clouds, cumulomnibus. But oh well, we'll just fly straight to it. We're not gonna make this more difficult than it has to be. Let's use the localizer again, since we have captured it. And let's see now. So we are gonna hold altitude. And let's see if we need to tweak the speed at all. Okay, we are flying nav. No heading select. We are, you can see it here with these ones working. Altitude hold, VR lock, nav mode is selected. Why is it saying no localize? Okay, yeah, that one works. The GPWS warning system. Yeah, look at that. They are quite majestic, the Alps. I need to fly more here in Southern Europe. Shame on me. Okay, we're speeding up quite a bit. So I'm gonna bring the throttle back. I have them all tied to one of my axes because I noticed it works much better that way. Okay, now that one is aligned with those. And now it's going for the localizers, that's good. And we can see here that we're a bit off. It's probably not going to correlate exactly, but at least closer. So it's good with Python ADC that you can still use it to kind of just check, you know, that you have the right frequencies. We can see we're missing the one for the airport. I'll remove that. The question is, how do we fly this approach? We're just gonna have to kind of visually do it. Or we can do it by just getting the ILS and then getting that set up properly, but let's see. Gonna slow it down just a tiny bit, but that should be enough. I'm gonna go get something to drink and then I'll be back and do the landing. See you in a jiffy. Okay, so the captain is back, or wannabe captain maybe. We are following the localizer, but are we doing a good job of it? Nope, we're not. Ugh. Not an awful job though, but yeah, you can see that it's being a bit clunky with following the right path. Let's actually have a look on what we can see now, because we should be very close to Salzburg, right? Yeah, here we can see it's already gone to photoreal. And my god, it looks so much better. Yeah. I think here it might still be Orbex, yeah. And then there we have the beauty of photoreal. So yeah, it's doing the kind of S following, which is not a good sign. So this could have been, of course, me coming in from a wrong angle, being more sensitive, but it could also indicate that there is, you know, it's not working exactly as it should, because now basically it should be turned to the right in order to ensure that we're getting back somewhat reasonably on it. Let's actually check if it's turning back right. It's not really. So what we'll do is we'll use the heading select. That one seems to work quite well. And we're also going to start descending. And in order to descend and do this somewhat properly, we're going to have to look at the chart fox. Check the approach for a runway 29. Because we were landing on that one, right? Yeah. And check that we need to be at 2100. Okay, we are losing quite a bit of speed. So let's add a bit of thrust. And let's start our descent. We don't need to do the hold mode anymore. 2100, we'll get the beep. I mean, there's probably hills, etc., so 2100 might not be perfect to go down to too soon. Yeah, we can keep that as is. We'll do away with the altitude hold. I'm a bit interested in seeing how the altitude hold is going to work with the glide slope though. So I'll try without it, and then we'll see how it works. Okay, I'm going to slow down. I can let us catch a bit of speed. We don't want to take on too much. We don't want to overspeed either. Okay, we are descending again. So far so good, I would say. I mean, everything hasn't worked, or everything hasn't worked as it should have, or and I haven't flown as good as I should have, so I guess it's been kind of fair of a result thus far. Okay, let's see. We are descending, maybe a bit late. Looks pretty okay. We don't have too much Let me see, fuel is looking fine. Not sure if this is also like you're supposed to empty the center one and then the left and right one, or if you're supposed to empty the left and right one and then empty the center one. Need to have a look at that actually at some point. But oh well. Okay, we're descending 27,000 feet, going further down. So far so good, I would say. We can actually start thinking about what the local is going to be. 10955. So we're already going to put that in. 10955. We're not going to be picking it up at this distance, which we aren't. So we'll put that as a backup. And we'll then continue with 110.4. And let me actually close my Discord. Wanna avoid any unnecessary draining processes. We'll also clean up some of my browsers. We don't need to have too much on. Okay. And now we seem to be flying over photo reel only. So that's a nice change. Okay. Let's see. Descending slowly and steadily. One thing we could do is put in our minimums. Radio altimeter, so that would be, let me see, 149. Yeah, let's have that set. Anything else? Still 68 nautical miles to go. And let's see what the pilot TDC is stating. Oh, nothing, cause oh yeah, no, it's still stating an ETA, so around 19 minutes. Which is gonna go by quickly when you're flying. Let's actually have a look at the local. I'm gonna set that already, just so I don't forget. 1017. It's a bit soon to set it. I think it's probably around 5,000 feet in normal operations. 10,000 is the transition, but that's fine. Let's put that in. And what else? What else? What else? Oh, actually, some sad news. Checking. I was gonna check if I heard anything from Nicholas, but then I ended up on Reddit. Yeah, weird how how that tends to happen. But I saw a post that Christian Riviera has passed away, and he made some old some freewares. So that's sad news. So he'd been in the community for more than 20 years. I don't think I flew anything of his creation, but yeah. Still, always sad to see a developer pass away. Okay, let's see. We can probably soon start slowing down a bit more. Are we descending quick enough? No, feels like we're descending a bit too slow. Let's see if we can get the ILS signal yet. Nothing as of yet. We're gonna turn a bit more to the right to get back on the proper localizer inbound route. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're way too high. It's good in the sense that I think the approach to the airport is quite there's a lot of hills. Let me see if there's any good arrival chart that showcases the mountains. Can't find anything on ChartFox. Maybe some general obstacle charts are gonna be good. Or maybe a VFR chart. We're soon at 10,000, so time to slow down. Yeah, we can see some hills already, so we're not that high. Okay, let's check again. Switch into the ILS one. And there we go. So we can see Vienna in front of us. The airport is gonna be there, I think. Yeah, so that's the industry complex close by. So if we want to fly this correctly, we actually need to go.
We have begun our final
Yeah, it took too long to load this VFR chart.
passenger the cabin to collect any trash one final time.
It does though seem to be very
So the seats are the full
in depth. Yeah, most of the hills that we're flying over now are around 2,000 feet ish, something around that. Okay, let's see the ILS one. So we're flying 291. That's gonna be the course for the ILS. So let's put that in. 291. And in order to get on that, we're gonna have to fly kind of parallel to it and then turn left. I think that's gonna be the smartest way to do it. We're below 250 knots, below 10,000 feet. We'll put on the landing lights. Yeah, look at this beauty. I think next is I think I was actually going to try to do the 707. That one I really look forward to. Just do VR flights with 4 engines. That's gonna be a lot of fun. It's not gonna be the same level as the DC-8, but it will be cool. I still haven't featured the comment on my channel, the Just Flight one. That one also works in P3 version 5. Here we see the nice Prielsoft Austria, or Vienna specifically, and it looks very nice. Okay, I think Matthias is using 15 for his LOD, which is probably a pretty good one, because it doesn't look too bad when you go down. I've been using 14 for a lot, just to save on space, but it looks awful on the ground. I think you could use 14, but then you use like the higher ones when you're close by, so like for the for the zone around the specific airport, you should use a higher LOD. Okay, let's see. We are at 6,700. The industrial complex is there, and then we have the airport there. I'll turn a bit to the left. 2,100 we want to be, and that's about 5.4 nautical miles from the runway threshold, or I guess from the runway. Yeah, very nice looking photoreal. It works very well because you're not going to be zooming in too much, then you'll kind of be taken away from the immersion. But looking like this as you would normally, it looks very nice. Very nice. Okay, still descending. We can probably descend a bit slower. In order to avoid flying too fast. We'll also do all the rest of the lights, so we don't forget that. The landing will be we'll do a flaps 40, not sure if 30 is more normal. Actually with the 727 we'll do 40. And we'll soon start our left turn. Well, not quite yet. Now we're past the industrial complex. We're starting to fly past the runway. We're still 7 nautical miles. We want to be probably at least 10 before we do our little turn here, and then in. I'm still wondering if I should try to do it with an autopilot, at least an autopilot assisted landing up until a specific point where I take manual control, just to check if the if the glide slope, etc., is working. So that might be worth it. The only thing I'm afraid of is if I do use altitude hold, what if it just gets stuck on that? But if I don't use it, then I'm gonna miss it, and then I'll have to kind of remedy it myself manually. Okay, let's see, we're 2,800. So we're starting to get to the right level. You can see we are very low actually. So we probably don't want to go too much lower than this. I'm gonna go altitude hold. Yeah, because we have this mountain and it's at around 1,200. So yeah, we don't want to go too low. But we do need to add a bit of thrust, so we're gonna stall otherwise. And we will need to make a left turn very shortly. So that's not the runway we're landing on. That's actually the... I'm trying to think, is that 17 maybe? No, 33, 0? 34 actually, yeah, that must be 34. Okay, slowing down a bit. And yeah, as you can see, we're now kind of past the runway. We can start making a bigger turn here. This is pretty low actually. I think they're saying it should be at least 2,500 clearance here. Because otherwise you're gonna hit the... or will be close to hitting the ground. But this is good. This is exactly the sort of altitudes we want to operate with this aircraft. Hot and high. Well, hot maybe not, but high elevation. Okay, we're gonna check what can we see. We'll continue our turn. We're still below the glide slope, so that's good. Let's try this. I guess technically if you flew this as efficient as possible, you wouldn't want to go down this low, this fast. You would want to maintain a bit of altitude. And then on the turn maybe you would descend the rest of the way. But I guess you would be vectored in, so... Well, in terms of efficiency, right? So we're burning more fuel this way. Okay, slowing down a bit more. There's some clouds here. Yeah, look at that. Well, I don't think there's anything that would be problematic from a minimum perspective. Okay, let's fly kind of straight at, and then we'll turn left for the 291 course. Yeah, look at this, we are in the clouds. This is gonna make this a bit trickier. And now I'm actually wondering what the minimums is at this airport. It's stating it's looking pretty good. So, non-reported, but I still see clouds here. So, oh well. Oh, did we actually overshoot? That's damn quick we... Yeah, we overshot it by a mile. God damn. Okay. Not good. Not good. I was thinking too much of the river, right? That we're gonna come in on the same angle as the river. But we're not, of course. So yeah. Stupid mistakes. What we'll actually do, because we're not gonna be able to make this turn. We don't have enough room, so we're just gonna turn back in, do a bit of a loop, maybe not a loop, but a kind of turn back in. This way we have a bit more time and space. Apart from the fact that we have that hill over there, so this could get a bit hairy. But we'll try to make this work. And we're not turning with that. I'm just wondering, like, our turning radius is quite wide, which I guess it's an autopilot restriction. But can we tweak that? Or is this just what it's kind of restricted to? I guess this is what it's restricted to. Okay, let's see. We are gonna try to turn all the way in. And hopefully we will not slam into any hills. Yeah, this would have been a dangerous maneuver if you were flying with like IFR conditions. Not recommended. 291. I think we can put it to that. I think we might be able to make this turn work. I think it was the right choice to turn right rather than to try and turn left and then salvage the approach. But we'll know soon enough. Still have about 100 degrees to turn, so not gonna lie, it's gonna be tight. But at least now should be able to make it. Can we see if the localizer is moving? We can try to get it at a bit of an angle. And we do have altitude hold on, so that's good for our testing purposes. We'll just have to be quick. I might have the 2D panel open just to try it out completely, or at least somewhat completely, hopefully. Let's see, I'll try to catch the localizer a bit sooner just to see how this will work. We might have turned a bit too steep. We probably should have should have kind of aimed straight at this arrow for a while and then start turning right. But okay, we'll make do. It is what it is. Okay, let's see. Are we seeing any progress with the localizer? Come on. I'm gonna start adding flaps. Because I want to be able to slow down in time. I think I can see the runway. It's right there, so it does look like we are coming in maybe in a bit of an angle. Hopefully it should be fine. We'll know soon enough. And I don't want to put the localizer or the glide slope mode for that matter on just yet. Okay, but now we're seeing the heading. Okay, so let's try the glide slope with the altitude hold. Come on, can it do it? No, it's gonna overshoot. It's gonna overshoot. I can already see that. Okay, let's try without the altitude hold. Let's see what it can or cannot do. Yeah, okay, we're not seeing too much progress. Okay, so we need to do some more testing. This was probably a bad approach to play around with that. Probably we should have taken a longer approach, so we could have properly tried. But at least we can see the glide slope, right? So you can fly it manually, even if that's not really the same as using the autopilot. Okay, well, we're gonna land now and wrap this video up. It's been a longer video than I thought, probably around, let's see, yeah, almost 2 hours. We have an aircraft coming in there to take off. Move away. Can we arm the... no, nothing to arm for the speed brake. We're gonna aim for around 140 knots, maybe a bit less, 138 knots for the landing. Hopefully that plane is able to take off quicker than it looks to be. Yeah, it could be tight. Let's see. Could be a bit tight. We're a bit low as well, but otherwise it's looking pretty okay. And I think it's taking off, so we're at least not gonna crash into it, even though I'm pretty sure we would get a go around at this stage. Okay, maybe we would have made it. Ish. Okay, we're a bit high. Okay, let's see. There we go. Touchdown, bit late. Thrust reversers do work, but I don't think there's any animations. Actually not sure if all of them had animations or... yeah, maybe some had different thrust reversers. Or the kind of reverser mechanism was different on some of them, I can't remember. I have a faint recollection that it could have been the case. With the 7027, specifically due to noise abatement, we'll remove the landing lights. We'll put on the very loud APU. Yeah, it's starting. We'll go for the parking. Now we have the loud APU on. But hey, at least we landed. Not sure how that door always seemed to open. Maybe I did press it by mistake. Or maybe there's a click button here that mistakenly opens it. We have a nice variety of planes here. Air, or Aegean, I think it's called. Condor, Eurowings, TUI, Asana maybe? Yeah. Very nice. Eva Air. So let's just park here, and this is the Gaia Simulations Vienna. So actually one of the few airports where I selected another one than the Flight Tampa offering that was available. Because usually the Flight Tampa one is the best one available in, or they make the best airports in P3D. But there are some exceptions. Specifically their older offerings aren't as good. For example, the Dubai one, which isn't or hasn't been updated since 2014 or something. Even though it's good otherwise, it's just old layout, missing terminals, etc. But I think, for example, their Vienna is a really old one. But who knows? It might actually have been could have been a good option as well. Maybe better on frame rates, etc. So it's a bit of a hit and miss with these airports. Sometimes you get an uglier ones with worse frame rates, or sometimes you get a better one. So, not that there's too many alternatives for specific airports, but in some cases there are. Okay, let's see now. Can we shut the engines? Yeah, it does look like we can. And I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to trip 2 of the generators since the APU one doesn't seem to work. Because now yeah, that's the problem. Can I do that and then... yeah, but then that one is tripped. Okay, doesn't really matter. But yeah, we managed to land, we managed to close all engines, we'll open a door, we'll close that door, and then we will exit packs. Or wait, let's do it like this. Yeah, 91, pretty good landing rate, not the best approach. We'll have a look at the replay and then we'll close in for today, or close in for the night. I need to go to sleep actually. We don't need to go that far back, 260 should probably be enough. Okay, so the replay mode doesn't seem to showcase, or actually, never mind. It does showcase the flaps. Nothing with the door, right? Yeah, okay, good. But yeah, not sure if this mechanism, or maybe it's just not, you know, an animation that we have been able to kind of move to P3D. I don't even remember what animations this airplane had in FSX. It's amazing though to be able to fly it in FSX, or in P3D version 5. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, they kind of sank a bit into the ground, but no biggie. Yeah, you can hear the thrust reversers, just can't see them. But okay, that was cool. Very nice, once again, to have another tri-engine aircraft in P3D version 5. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the ending short. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do reach out if you're interested in this aircraft. And if you have any questions or comments or other suggestions, do feel free to comment below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye bye.